Pollinator in danger, pollution and climate effects on bees. The familiar sound effect you hear in the clip is that of bees working tirelessly in an almond orchard. This humming sound reminds me of a time when I was just a little kid, running around my local park when I was stung by a bee. Although I'm not allergic and I was fine after a few minutes, safe to say I was not a major fan of bees from that point on. That was until a summer day in June of 2023, when I mentioned to the old cook at my summer camp that there were bees swarming around a hole in one of the fields. He had mentioned he kept bees, but when I said I was a little nervous and didn't want to come with him, he forced me and some of my coworkers to come along as he investigated. After work that day, he invited us to his house nearby to see bees which he kept, and showed us there wasn't much to be, pun intended, afraid of. With no equipment, he walked up to his kept hives and showed us hundreds of bees and vast amounts of honey they produced. He trusted them and they trusted him, and he didn't get stung once. He explained to us how this very lush garden and homegrown plants are all pollinated by the bees, and he collects significant amounts of honey every year. Before leaving, he gave us each a jar, and I never really disliked bees again. Pollinators are responsible for helping improve yields for just under 75% of crops of great importance in the commercial food industry. As mentioned, bees are vital pollinators, which as a result can influence commercial crop yields. Bees pollinate many flowering plants and edible plants such as vegetables, fruits, and legumes. Not only pollination, but bees can also improve the size and quality of the plants which they pollinate. Several factors have led to the unsustainable decline of honeybee populations. The use of synthetic pesticides on plants which pollinate bees creates a stressful effect which is very negative on the bee population. Pesticides can harm the worker bees as they pollinate, leading to minimal return back to the hive. Additionally, the use of pesticides may pose a risk to food products made by bees such as honey, as the toxin from the synthetic pesticides may be kept and passed into the honey. One other thing I remember from the day I learned about the bees was how blisteringly hot it was. Granted it was June, but climate change can also seriously affect bee populations. Climate change can lead to plant flowering timing being offset from its usual season, affecting bee pollination and feeding. Don't worry, many measures may be taken to conserve bee populations and reduce the effects of synthetic pesticides and pollutants. Due to their importance, there is significant research related to saving honeybees active right now. Both chemical and non-chemical ways of helping the honeybees deal with stressors and techniques such as the integrated pest management will help with the honeybee population. The Mi'kmaq concept of two-eyed seeing, as taught by Elder Albert Marshall, is an important concept in ecology and will prove important with bees. Two-eyed seeing involves using one lens to look at situations with technology and Western scientific views, and the other lens to look at situations with generational teachings of indigenous elders. When specifically talking about our problem with population decline in bees, we may use two-eyed seeing effectively, recognizing and reflecting on the fact that many of the problems arose from man-made pesticides and pollutants is key in the healing path. The combination of Western practices and indigenous knowledge will be essential in many instances, including that of saving the honeybees. With all the research being done using Western technology and practices, as well as valued input from indigenous knowledge keepers, I am hopeful that we can reform a healthy relationship with honeybees. By ensuring that any grocery products you buy were grown sustainably with bee health in mind, you yourself can contribute to advances in honeybee health. Working on this reflection has made me more appreciative of the honeybees' work with our food system, giving us larger crop yields and, best of all, honey. I am nearly done the jar in which I was given to me over a year ago by my camp cook, Tony. Despite receiving the jar a long time ago, the best part is that honey doesn't expire. If for whatever reason you're in and around Lombardy, Ontario, I suggest you go pick up a jar. It's the best honey I've ever eaten.